Hey, we've got a contract update on Micah Parsons. How about that? Kinda. I'm Mike Fisher, your trusty and trusted reporter. Good Friday to you. As Marsha's got me sneaking around the country, but I'm still sneaking behind her back and visiting with you because 73,000 fish heads in Cowboy Nation demand it, and so does BetUS. Thank you to BetUS for being a part of what we do here. Hey, we got a one-word update on Micah Parsons' contract negotiations with the Dallas Cowboys. Okay, this is America's team. Doesn't get any bigger than that. Micah Parsons, in terms of a talent and a name in the NFL, doesn't get much bigger than that. Making sure that this thing doesn't break down and turn into some sort of a disaster, or something less than a disaster, but something quite controversial, a trade. You draft, develop, and pay great players. He's 25. It's not that hard. I understand the speculation. I understand the guessing game. I understand the clickbaiting. It's not that hard. At a glance, there's part of this that seems like a no-brainer. Micah has already volunteered to take less than $40 million. We've been talking about $40 million a year for Micah Parsons. He would break the sound barrier here, be the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history by a lot. And I don't know who came up with the $40 million figure, but it's out there and it's stuck. And he has announced he's willing to take less if we can go, and use that overflow money to go buy him some teammates. Listen, we've had a lot of conversations about Micah, and he's flawed, just like the rest of us. But this is an incredible development from maybe the best player on the team saying, I don't need all the money. This is contrary, of course, to what some players have said. Not that DeMarcus Lawrence isn't a team player, but he very famously, in a negotiation with Stephen Jones a couple years ago, when Stephen said, boy, we're tight up against the cap. And Tank Lawrence responded by saying, I don't care. That's not my problem. That's your problem. And it wasn't exactly unselfish of him, but it was true. And of course, the tight against the cap is bullshit. And we keep trying to preach that and push that. In fact, we did so on Wednesday night when the new salary cap number came out. Oh, it's shocking. It's not shocking. It's exactly what we've been talking about for a year. Go get it. Go get the Wednesday night salary cap shocker. That isn't shocking at all. So here comes the idea of what to do with Micah Parsons. And of course, right before the Super Bowl, Stephen Jones told NFL.com, everybody's killing me for writing this story. I take it back. A source told NFL.com that inside the building, we've looked at every option, including trading Micah Parsons. The Cowboys said that, not me. I just reported it. Don't shoot the piano player. We know by Micah's own words that while he's visited with Jerry casually, there's no progress as I speak to you now on a new contract. That's okay. It's early enough in the process. You'd love to get this done before March 12th. You'd love to be able to go, Dak, dink, CD, dink, Micah, dink, and there's your $100 million worth of room. What $100 million worth of room? Wonk, wonk. I'm not going to stomp on the graves of my competitors who still don't get it. I'm not going to dance on the graves. I'm a very humble old man. I'm just going to sit back and bask in the rightness and the righteousness. Whether the Cowboys use the tools or not, the tools do exist. So Micah's saying the right things. I want to be here. We haven't moved much in negotiations, but we're visiting. Micah's doing all the right things. He's got Micah control. Perennial defensive player of the year guy, and he's 25. He's going to continue to be a perennial defensive player of the year for the next half decade. So he's minding his P's and Q's. He's got Micah control. Unfortunately, squeezing out the side of the tube, squeezing out the hole in the tube, in the Parsons tube, is his brother. His brother, Terrence, is deciding that he's going to be the spokesman for the Micah negotiations. So he offers up a series of tweets in which he says there's zero chance of extension by this date, and there's this. It's all Terrence. Mike is way too smart, by the way, to have hired Terrence to do this. Mike has got an agent, an agency, an employer who's in the broadcast and journalism industry, and he's got the Dallas Cowboys. The last thing he needs is some dipshit brother intervening, but that's what he has. The question was about signing Micah before the opening of free agency. That seems unlikely. The Cowboys have done it, but they haven't done it enough. And even though Micah's volunteering to do that, it would be quite something if Jerry and Steven stepped up to the plate and got that done. And by the way, thank you to BetUS for doing what you do for us. BetUS.com. Go there right now. Well, go there when we're done here in a few minutes. Go to BetUS.com and use the promo code YouTube150 and get 150% off your first investment into yourself, up to $2,000. Your investment into your own gambling, football, betting genius. BetUS.com. I said this the other day about mom who runs out on the field because Junior got plunked in the shoulder. Somebody threw the ball and it hit Junior in the shoulder in T-ball, and he's crying. Mom, sit the hell down. Let the boy's testicles grow on their own. Get your emotions out of your son's testicles. What? And I'm not picking on Terrence. I've said this about Dak Prescott's brother and CeeDee Lamb's mom and Trayvon Diggs' other brother, who was involved in some sort of a alleged beating up some guy in an elevator on camera, allegedly. And Patrick Mahomes' brother, who's a lunatic. And Patrick Mahomes' dad, who purposely started a fight with John Rocker, the racist pitcher. They both were major league pitchers in New Orleans after the Super Bowl in the street. And I knew it. I wrote right about it at the time. I said, this is fake. Something's going on here. And then a couple of days later, indeed, it is fake. It's a boxing match being promoted by Barstool or somebody. It's all fake. Fake, 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 fake. His brother and his mom and his brother and his sister and his girlfriend and his wag and his wife. Matthew Stafford's wife is getting in the way of his career, and neither one of them apparently know it. Outside of a player's relative trying to gain some measure of meaningless fame, how is a bro comment of any service to the person in the arena? I don't know what Terrence does for a living. He's probably on Micah's payroll. He's probably in charge of picking up the dry cleaning. But I will never understand why players don't exercise scene control. It probably is kind of hard to tell your mom, hey, mom, shut up. But it shouldn't be hard. It shouldn't be hard to tell your spouse to shut up. Marcia tells me it all the time. It shouldn't be hard to tell your brother or your cousin or your sister or your dad, shut up. You're costing me money. Having some ill-informed and overly emotional relative, whether it's climbing behind the bar at Chili's to assault the bartender, or whether it's getting a fake boxing match, or whether it's having a podcast it's not about you, it's about him, because you're surfing on him, or just Terrence Parsons on Twitter, who, by the way, seriously, not long ago, went on Twitter and said, I would like to offer my expertise on all things Cowboys. I'd like to be a guest with Shannon Sharpe on ESPN. What? Micah, shut this shit down. You are getting ready 5 years to, I'm not very good at math. You're getting ready to sign a $200 million contract. And Fredo over here is ruining it. Fredo, look it up. The last time that I paid attention to Terrence, he literally wrote on Twitter, he said, Cowboys fans are clueless. He said, the Cowboys management is guilty of the greatest crimes. Said Dak Prescott isn't worth the money. Criticized the coaching staff's play calling, offensive play calling, and said, y'all gonna miss Micah when he's gone. Dude, how are you helping? Scene control, Micah. Tell your mom, tell your sister, tell your brother, tell your dad, tell your girlfriend, tell your wife, tell your wag. I got people, I'm handling this. Terrence and other Cowboy fans may not like the timeline. I don't like the timeline. Let's get this done. But until talks really get going, it's a matter of trusting Dallas and Micah to make the decision, the right decision together. And that doesn't involve my brother. Fish.